Okay. Now, some of the trickiest things I have ever put cake on. It's glass.
Cool.
Kinda. You guys familiar with that book, Cake Rex?
Yes.
I think they have a blog too.
Sure.
I almost had a cake, well, I kind of did have a Cake Rex, but I salvaged it. Okay, so this is the newer Disney movie Tron Light Cycle in cake. It was only about that wide, and it had to stand up, and I thought, oh, this would be so cool to have it on glass, and then I'm gonna have it uplit, you know, because it was a night party, and it could like show lights, blah, blah. Okay, so there it is, night lit.
Way cool.
Super rad, right? And this was a ginormous piece of sugar, and I knew I could get the sugar to attach to this, but what can I not get that cake to attach to very well? The glass. There is really no way to get that secured there. So it was all about balance. And let me tell you, I've never been so terrified to carry a cake.
Yeah,
it was difficult, and it did fall over at one point. It went.
Nice.
And luckily it wasn't finished yet, but that was my quick clue, like, oh, Charity, you better like get something together here and figure out how this is going to get supported on glass, right? So glass, while very cool, yes, you need to really, really think it through. Really think it through. All right. Another one that I did on glass, this is a fun story. This cake I did in Alaska. There's a whole lot of stories that go with this cake, but I'll keep it short.
They have glass in Alaska?
Well, I knew that the bride wanted it on glass, and she wanted this dirt. It's cookie dirt, right, around the base here. And it's cool, super, you know, modern, but yet organic looking cake. And I saw the cake table, and it was just kind of boring. And, you know, here I am in Alaska, for crying out loud, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And we're on a lake. And so I just started like frantically like looking around. What can I do? Now, let me tell you where the thought came from. This cake, the Woody surfboard cake, this was the wedding cake that went with that cake. So all of these, it's going to be really hard to see because this is not the best picture. I apologize. All of these cakes, these are more ovals again. This is like the ovals with the middle thing. This is kind of a thing a while back. So all of these cakes are on upside down antique stemware. So wine glasses, champagne glasses, cordial glasses. Super cool because it was like a vintagey, you know, wedding. So can you kind of see that?
Not really.
Kind of? Not really? Okay. I'll get you digitals. Okay?
Yeah, there you
So
go.
we'll get out some digitals, but it was so cool looking, right? So that came to mind when I was trying to do this.
Are you going to show us how to do the upside down cordial something?
Yes,
thing?
I'm going to show you with milk bottles though, because I did grab my milk bottles, my antique milk bottles.
Cool.
All right, so because that's kind of more hip right now,
Yeah.
is the whole farm-ish thing. So, okay, so I grabbed a bunch of glasses off the table, and it was all orange and yellow and green themed. So they had these limes, lemons, and oranges. So I grabbed a bunch of the limes, lemons, and oranges. I got 9 glasses, and it just so happened that the facility there was putting down brand new sod, as in grass. So I ran over, because it like, bam, you know, one of those like light bulbs goes off in your head. So I ran over to the sod laying guys. I'm like, can I please have a piece of your sod? I just want a square. Just cut me a square. The guy's looking at me like, I mean, I'm in a chef coat. He's like, what? I'm like, seriously, please, can I just have a piece of sod? He's like, okay. So he gave me a piece of sod. And so I put the sod, it's pretty good, it's a good sized piece. I put the sod on the table, dirt side down, obviously, on the table. And then I took all this glassware and I put it upside down, right? I did 9, 3 and 3 and 3. And then I put oranges, limes, and lemons inside the bulbous part, the large part of the glassware, because it's upside down, remember, to give it some color, right, to kind of set it off. Because otherwise, with all that clear stuff, you kind of can't tell what's going on. But it was kind of fun to bring some of the color down in there. And then I used my glue dots, put a few glue dots on top of that on top of the stems of the stemware so that when I sat the glass down, it was super stable. Because you got to remember when, let's give an example here. Let's say that we decide to use like a vase like that. Okay. By the way, these are tabletop glass thingies like from Walmart. So they up in their home section, they have, you can buy these. And this is that thing where you have an ugly table and you put a piece of fabric over it and then you put this on top, right? You've seen those. So, so if I'm gonna do this, right, I'm gonna definitely want a glue dot on here because, let's give an example. So here we go with a cake, okay? I'll make it tall enough.
Nice.
All right, so here we go with the cake. And then you have your bride and groom coming up to it to do their cutting into the cake, right? So they start cutting and this can happen.
Oh,
No bueno.
no bueno.
And then you have a cake disaster while they're having their cake cutting moment. So what helps with that, one, is that I do not recommend doing something quite this small on a larger thing like this because it just can be kind of tippy, right? Even with the glue dots, it can be kind of tippy. But it's cool because you can put stuff in there. So if you had 4, that would be super sturdy.